Right, here we are. This is the cone cutting router table. As you can see, it is not a CNC cutter. There ain't no computers involved here. It does make me chuckle when I look at this, because the whole thing's made out of scrap, and after you've watched people doing this on CNCs and on milling machines, and this is what it comes down to for the poor and needy amongst us. This is about version Mark 4, because I kept coming up with other ways of doing it, which is you know, you build it once, then you think, oh, I can improve that. But anyway, I'll show you what I started with. Was let's come around this way. I started off with a fence adjustment, because that's your critical thing, is adjusting the fence in relation to the to your cutting bit and having it parallel. So I had a couple of these on there which were screwed through the back from the fence, and then a screw down here to lock it, and it worked, but it was very time consuming every time I wanted to reset the fence. So then we moved on to this system with a lock nut, or a captive rather, into the back of the fence, and a lock nut, studding, undo the wing nuts. You can pull it either way. There's a bit of microbore copper tube through the centre of the wood so you don't crush everything. Obviously there are two of those. These red lines are just to give you a rough positioning on where the fence has to go for each cut. They're not there as an accurate guide at all. And then obviously what I was doing was just measuring from the fence to the edge of the table to check I was square. And then I thought, hang on, I can improve on that. I've got a little digital vernier there. They're dirt cheap, about £7 off the internet. And I thought, if I had to extend the table a little bit to get it in, and then put 3 little fences on, then I could check in 3 positions for square with the vernier. And I thought, that's it, I've cracked it now. And then I came out here and started videoing it, and I thought to myself, do you know what, I wonder if a laser would work on there. Yeah, I know, all bits of scrap wood. Anyway, I knew that somewhere I had a laser, and I spent about 2 hours and eventually found it. Couldn't find anything in here. And this laser cost me the princely sum of £1 from the pound shop, I don't know how many years ago. Now, let's turn the laser on. God, it's high tech, isn't it? And what you do is you sight the laser, or what I've done. I mean, I don't say these things I do are the right way, but it's the way I do them. I've sighted the laser down the outside edge of that cutting bit, which then gives you the cut line to the right hand edge of your slot. And how I set the laser was this bit of plastic, which the laser is mounted on, and it's also tilted down slightly, so as when I'm looking up this way I'm not getting the laser in the eyes, and it projects the line better. But this is mounted on a piece of soffit from when I did the gutters a couple of years ago. This is a bit of laminate flooring from when I did the flooring a couple of years ago. And it's got a similar adjusting system to the fence, because obviously it's got to be accurate. And again, I mean, I haven't got any more wing nuts, but a couple of lock nuts there to lock it off, and it's in position and won't move. And what you're doing now, when you're setting this fence, you set it parallel to the laser line. I mean, I've checked the laser line, it is parallel with the edge of the table, but you're now going to set the fence and the laser line parallel. And the easy thing is, I mean, this is, if you put a rule in, if you want to measure across to the laser line, obviously the laser will run through your rule and you can see exactly where you are. But that's the system. And as I say, the laser was £1. The router I had, in fact, my bass player in the band gave it to me years ago because he bought a new one. But you buy a router for about £30. Those 3mm bits, they actually give you a cut. They're called 3mm, but they actually give you a cut of about 3.25mm, which is just nice. It's just right for the head of the reed on your blow plate to drop in between them. Those bits are about £2.50 each. Everything else is scrap. Everything else is scrap. The legs for the table were my old patio window frames. Few screws. My kind next door neighbour, the guitar maker, gave me the studding. But I mean, that would have only cost you a couple of quid in the shops. But I mean, you make one of these tables from scratch for about 30 or 40 quid. You know, including buying the router. Well, one little thing, I did look to buy a router table. I'm not that hard up, I'm pretty hard up. But the thing is, none of them that I've looked at have got a fine adjustment for the fence. They seem to rely on having a rule set into the table, and then it's a clamp and push pull. But I just needed something a bit finer, and I suppose I could have done if I'd have spent hundreds of pounds. But Heath Robinson is alive and well, and the important thing is it works. And let's be brutally honest. We're not splitting atoms, we're cutting harmonica combs. As long as the cuts are uniform, straight and even, that's all that matters. There are people who make things seem a lot more complicated than they actually are. Can't imagine why they do that, but they do. But that's the system. All you computer geeks with your cutters and engineers and that, don't pee yourselves laughing, because I assure you it does work. It's I'd like to say it was a labour of love, but it wasn't. And now what I've got to do is get on and cut some combs and make some more harps. I did do one on an earlier version of this table, and those narrow slots seem to really work well for me. Maybe it's because I'm a lung down at the moment, but the one harp I have done, somebody came over, a harp player, and they played it and they bit my hand off for it. They bought it and took it away, so I haven't got it anymore. But anyway, I'm rambling. That's the non-CNC harmonica comb cutting table. And just quickly, those router bits, I've made about 200 cuts with that router bit on this Corian, and it doesn't seem to have blunted at all. It's very nice stuff to work with, very easy to work with, much easier than polycarbonate. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'll speak to you all later.